Hey, it's Thursday, and Kyle, I can't believe it's September. What? It's September, man. Good news is new vehicle sales seem like they might be coming back a little bit for Kia and Hyundai. It's a good way to start September.
It is a great way to start September. And if I had I want to make like a few calls today, you know?
Okay.
Because
like, what do you mean?
I
like
have
a few
sneaking
predictions?
suspicion.
Predictions is what? Is that what you mean?
No, not predictions, but a few calls across the industry because I have a sneaking suspicion that there's a good amount of people that experienced some lift last month. Like when I was talking to dealers mid-month and things like that, it was like, hey, things are looking pretty good. So I think,
really?
you know, yeah, that's at least that was my perspective. And okay, so it's like maybe 5 to 7 dealers that I had a one-on-one conversation with.
But you know, a couple dealers is all I'm saying.
I know at least a couple.
Just
you know,
just two tree dealers.
two a tree.
You got Bob's used cars over there on the block.
Yep.
And Ralph's rides around the corner. Those are two at least. You know?
At least the guy across the street, he sold a few. Saw him roll them.
1997 Honda Accord he got.
It was perfect. Yeah.
Oh, well, today we're talking about we're not even gonna tell you what we're gonna talk about. One thing is the sales lift. We want to talk about a few things. Well, let's list things that are happening in September. If you live in the Northeast, school is going to start. So we're a little behind our Southern friends.
Like a whole
school
month.
Started like 3 years ago. But school's going to start, right? We got a holiday weekend. The leaves are going to start changing ish. There's going to be a little event called ASOTU.
Oh, really? Wow.
Yeah, I think it's in Philly.
I think there's some people coming to that. We should go.
It is really weird that we are in the same month of September. And I've been seeing some text messages and messages and talking to some dealers that we know coming through as being like, yeah, I know like 20 more people that are coming. They just haven't bought their tickets yet. I'm like, that's so automotive, right? Like we're just going to buy our tickets last minute. So look, if you're a dealer and you are coming, just buy your tickets. Just buy your tickets. Go. Like just they need food and head counts and all those things. Buy your tickets. We need to know who's coming so that we can be ready for you. I mean, we're ready for you regardless, but you know, do us a solid. There is one really amazing thing that is happening that unfortunately, Kyle, you and I won't be able to be a part of.
I'm so frustrated about it. You and I might have to go out on Sunday and do the same thing or something. I don't know.
That sounds really good, but there's going to be a rocky run on Monday morning. And if I can't think of a way to start out an awesome, like 36 hours with all of your peers and industry partners and brilliant people, it's going on the Rocky Run that's going to start at Center City in City Hall and going to go to the Art Museum. It's about a mile, so like everyone can do this. And they're going to go run the Rocky Steps at the end. And just think of the photo ops, right? Car guys and coffee, the certified solutionaries.
You got Fred Kevin Jones going out there with them.
Is he going?
Was the one, I think actually Kevin was kind of the one that was like, hey, we should do this. And they were like, we're going to do it. And then they were in Philly last week, recorded a video all about what they're going to be doing. Like the energy is unbelievable right now.
Yes. Joe just commented. Yes, the live hotel block is sold out, but there are 2 more hotels. One is like just a few blocks from the venue that has plenty of space. And also there's Doubletree by the airport. We have a really special rate at if you're going to like get in, get out on the cheap 139 room. Actually, the most expensive rooms we have are like 165 just because we did it right. And they're nice rooms too. So if you want to go to the Rocky Run, what's the best way to get to it? You got to go search Lou Ramirez on LinkedIn and look at his last post. Actually, I shared it this morning because I was so excited about it. We're going to run the Rocky Steps. Go run the Rocky Steps. Even if you're in Philly, go run the Rocky Steps. Even if you're not coming to the ASOTU, because I can tell you the view from the top of the steps is amazing. It is an awesome spot to catch some pictures. Got some Auto Collabs episodes streaming again today. Is today Doug Miller?
Yeah. Doug Miller.
Is that today?
Yeah, that's today.
Oh, man. We got two great ones coming up for you. Doug Miller, I'll tell you what. Talk about someone who is just poised and experienced from multiple industries and bringing that wisdom. And he's telling some stories about It's just great. It's just a great interview. Check it out. And Jocelyn, new to the ASOTU crew. So you can come and meet her for the first time. That was actually, I met her for the first time on this podcast interview. So you can check that out as well. But it's Thursday. It's September 1st. And Kyle, we have some news to cover.
We got some news to get through and a lot of automotive stuff today. So a lot of times we touch like
funny thing retail, about that,
but it's like we're just full on automotive. So if you're in the industry and you're like, these guys, sometimes they talk about Target. Not today.
No Target today. Yes. All right. So first one, actually, this is Automotive News' top story today. Inventory shortage is easing as Hyundai and Kia see their first year-over-year growth since summer of 2021. So could this be that the tides are turning? Kia, with the lowest day supply of vehicles, according to Cox data, said it set an August record with 66,089 deliveries, signaling the company's lineup continues to churn at a high rate.
Wow.
S&P
set a record in new car deliveries last month. That's incredible, actually.
No.
Yeah.
An August record. Oh,
an August record. An August record. But
I didn't realize it was a record. It's not just year-over-year growth. They set a record?
Right. Yeah. So like and to be honest, like Kia has been growing as a brand and people are getting, more attached to the brand. They've expanded their model lineup, which, they don't have like that full model lineup like a Toyota or a Ford or something like that. So anytime you're expanding a model lineup and people are getting, more attracted to the brand, you're going to see growth. But to see that in an inventory shortage and acknowledging like, hey, look, we've got a little bit more stock coming in. Now, overall, from an overall perspective, so Hyundai and Kia obviously seeing growth, but we saw growth overall last month. It looks like the light vehicle percentage of growth has gone up over just over 1%, and S&P Global Mobility last week, and then like the contrast to that is S&P Global said, hey, look, we're going to reduce our total overall sales growth or sales in 2022 down from 14.6 to 14.1. So again, it's like up over here, down over here, up over here, down over here. I just think that it's tough. Like there's not a consistent measured approach, but it's encouraging to see some automakers making some strides.
It really is. According to JD Power and LMC Automotive, August marked the 10th consecutive month that retail inventory closed below 900,000. So less than 1 million inventory units
on ground. Now, here's my question, because I've been past a couple dealers. I've talked to a couple dealers. I'm like,
Ralph.
So, okay, 900,000 divided by 17,000. Where are all those cars, y'all?
In transit?
I'm just really wondering, like, where? No, that's retail inventory. The way I read that, maybe wholesale. We need to dig a little bit deeper, but like the way I read that is that's units in like on ground at this point, which
is it produced? To me. No, I guess if the numbers are predicting like 13.1 to 13.3 million vehicles, I guess 900,000 right now makes kind of sense.
Yeah,
assuming that's not a full month supply, right? A full month supply would be about 1.2 million as far as like vehicles that are moving. So I guess it's less. Yeah, I guess it makes sense, right? It's less than it's like a 26-day supply or something.
Yeah,
I don't know.
I think that's about
right. It's all numbers. It's all numbers.
It's all just
but
numbers.
August was also the 4th consecutive month when cumulative incentives average less than $1,000. So I love the head look around.
Everyone's like, thank goodness, keep them low.
Man, may they stay that way, right? If there was like a DraftKings for automotive, I would certainly be betting on incentives going up at some point in
Definitely
the next 18 months. There was an extra selling day if you take out the Sundays in the month, so that may have been a contributing factor. But months are different. Anyone who runs a business and has payroll knows, like, sometimes 4 times a year you get that 5-week payroll week, and you're like, oh man. Look, everybody wants to be paid, but at the same time, when you're looking at the P&L, like, you're like, oh, we're gonna eke out a profit this month, and then that 5th payroll hits, and you're like, well, at least everybody's happy.
There you go.
So that's a little recent news. I think it's good news. It's a great way to start September.
It's a great way to start September. We're seeing automakers make strides, growing retail volume, and September for many dealers is still a very up month. It's not that like October, November lull, and so August, September are super up months. I'm encouraged going into this month, and I think we're gonna hear those stories of dealers and automakers continuing to go up, and we'll keep an eye out as more of these monthly reports monthly and quarterly reports kind of roll in.
Heck yeah, man. And in the Northeast, and then probably any snow, like September, October, like kind of right up to Thanksgiving, everyone's like, it's go time. It's go time. So, winter's coming. People are trading in the vehicles, SUVs, snow tires, the whole thing. So you know what snow tires are, right? Yeah, you live in Ohio.
Snow tires. No, Ohio, we don't do snow tires. You kidding me?
Nah,
I found out about snow tires like 4 years ago. I didn't even know that was a thing that existed. They got storage things all over the place storing your snow tires. I had no clue.
Did you know that in Canada, it is mandatory that you put snow tires on your car?
I know, it's ridiculous. I had no clue.
It's like a certain day, like if you don't have snow tires on, you're getting a ticket. Ticket from a Mountie.
All Canadian dealers are like, yeah, we're going to be fine when EVs come around. We change tires twice a year for people. We got service on service.
68% of our revenue. Going to be burning through those babies like crazy. Oh, I can imagine an EV.
Speaking of EVs,
tires. Oh my God.
Stop. Segway.
We needed to pull out of that one.
We did. We're like, falling.
Now we're talking about snow tires in Canada. Like, where have we gone? Ford and Rivian have separately petitioned the U.S. Department of the Interior to speed up the permitting process for EV materials that are essential for domestic battery production. The letters urge the department to restrict the permitting process to no longer than 3 years, because the current, I was like, 3 years? That sounds like forever. Well, the current process apparently could take up to 10 years.
So
and if you thought
the year,
if you like wanted to put it
is before
the year
years.
2032.
So that's 2032. So they would struggle. I think that's the point, that the year 2030 is
unless someone build a time machine. I mean, I don't know if you've ever had to submit for like a permit for like to put a deck on your house or something like that. And you thought that took a while. Can you imagine a 10-year permitting process? I kind of just imagine the scene from what's that movie with all the animals? Zootopia, when they're in the DMV.
Like all the animals.
You're like any Disney movie, any Pixar movie, right? Jungle Book. And so I just imagine the sloth in there, right? Like, how may I help you? Right. That's what a 10-year permitting process must be like. If you want to open a mind. So this is a quote from Chris Smith, Ford's chief government affairs officer. Today's lengthy, costly, and inefficient permitting process makes it difficult for American business to invest in the extraction and processing of critical minerals in the U.S. He continues, in contrast, Canada and Australia have adopted mineral permitting policies, say that fast, that enable producers to complete the process in 2 to 3 years while maintaining stringent environmental standards.
I mean, that's impressive, and I think it's necessary. And we're hearing reports that Australia is a massive mining field for the minerals needed for EV. And so, I think, like, if we're gonna do this EV thing, which at least
seems like we are,
it's coming, right? Then we need to. This just needs to be it's probably just a process that hasn't been focused on because it hasn't been necessitated. And
there's one guy.
Right?
It's got one guy.
One guy.
Right,
he's like, okay, so what you're telling me is, and so it's one of those things that we just have to get better at, and I can appreciate it, and that use of public funds for researching like how to geomap and identify all the mineral deposits across the U.S. was mentioned in this request, and so I think that, like, if on one hand it's like, hey, by 2030 or by 2035, all of the cars need to be EVs or a certain percentage have to be, then you got to play ball on the game of like getting us there, right? We can't just,
absolutely.
Like Brian Benstock has been famous for saying, we can't just depend on foreign minerals for EV production. So I appreciate Ford and Rivian kind of petitioning the U.S. government to play ball here.
Yeah, it's just gonna be interesting. Have you ever seen an EV mineral mine? I mean, they all look different. But it doesn't. I mean, sometimes they literally
funny part
pump water from underneath salt flats and they get it to the surface, and it's like mineral rich water, and then it kind of evaporates, leaving the minerals, right? Which could be, I mean, obviously could be a challenge in places where there's already freshwater issues. And then some of them just look like a giant, like, it looks like Steve from Roblox made it. Right.
Yeah.
It's just like stepped out. I mean, it looks just like that.
I'm just gonna lob this one out there, and then we can move to the next story.
Is there a pin in this grenade, or is it like a softball pitch over the plate? What are you lobbing?
It's a pin.
Okay.
So my question is just, for these mines,
I don't know.
Are the things that are pulling all these minerals out, Are they electric
They're
or
all
gas
EVs,
powered?
Kyle, don't even go there. They're all EVs. There couldn't possibly be anything bad about strip mining an acre of land to make one EV battery at all.
Not at all. Not at all.
We're good.
That's fair.
Good. And who generates the electric? I'm just kidding. Let's just move on. Speaking
of EV batteries,
electric.
Stop. Segue.
That was the first. That was easily our first double segue where we both said something different.
But they both made sense, and we got out. It's like each story today, we kind of like at some point start falling from the air, and someone has to.
We're in some kind of mood. We're in some kind of mood today. A $30,000 dealership quote for a battery replacement has been circulating around Facebook and other platforms. The replacement's on a 2012 Chevy Volt, and it was indeed fact-checked to be accurate by USA Today. The post reads, a Chevy Volt with just 70,000 miles needed a new battery and some coolant. Forget the coolant. That'll be $30,000, please. And it was confirmed by Gary Herman, service director of Roger Dean Chevrolet in Cape Coral, Florida, as he explained, hey, the battery's out of warranty. It's been discontinued by GM, and we had to pay a whole lot to get the battery from a third-party supplier. Like, we don't set the prices. We just found it for the customer. So, so the original 2012 cost of a Chevy Volt, $39,000. That driver's like, well,
average. Yeah.
Oh my gosh. Right. Oh my gosh. Right.
I mean, the value of that car now is probably $6,000, right? Like
maybe
realistically.
It's
with an operational battery.
It needs $30,000 in the trunk if you're going to pay $6,000 for it, because you got to put a new battery in it, right? Like, that car is scrap, man. That's a clunker. That is a clunker. The average battery replacement,
though, like, this is like a thing that we've questioned for a long time. And we had this question when I was originally selling the Leaf, is like, when you've got new iPhone batteries coming out, it's like they don't just take the old batteries. There's a whole recycling process that goes into this. But creating a standard for a replacement mechanism for these older vehicles, because that's like, it's an engine, but it's an engine that gets discontinued essentially. And so it poses a major problem.
Right. A single piece engine that gets discontinued.
Right. Yeah. And so with average battery replacement already being high at around $6,300 for non-discontinued items that are coming from the manufacturer,
the new stuff. Yeah.
And then things like the Mach-E battery costing as much as $20,000, this is a piece of like insurability or battery warranty or
financing.
Yeah. Financing these things, of questions of like, what's the, is everybody going to be forced to get into lease renewal or product turnover type scenarios? I think about someone that, I've known a couple of people that still go like an old iPhone 5, iPhone 6. And really, those people struggle to get anything done on that. And it's like, I guess I got to get a new phone, so, but that's just a phone, not a car that gets you places.
Well, we're optimistic that obviously the more of these are made, more batteries are made, they're going to get standards, going to be third-party replacements, and the whole thing is going to go. And hopefully they find a way quickly to recycle materials. But the best way, obviously, is not to recycle materials. It's just make batteries that last longer.
Yeah, there you go.
It's just easy. Look, we're just solving problems here this morning.
I read through a lot of the comments early when this story came out, and I can't remember who actually found the story. It wasn't USA Today, but
no.
I think like as any dealership, as you start to run into these new problems in service that people haven't experienced before, is practicing a very high level of empathy when you're communicating what needs to be done, how it needs to be done, the cost of replacement, because it's not just, hey, here's your oil change, here's your tire rotation, here's your alignment, those conversations that you've been used to and the customers have been used to for a long time. So you have to exercise a whole nother level of empathy and education in order to move these conversations along and not end up on USA Today.
Truth. Well, we hope you have an amazing, fully charged September 1st today. We're in the fight with you. Don't ever let anyone tell you it's a lost cause, because it isn't. Got a lot of work to do, though, and it's September. Air is crisp. Feeling good.
Good